to refuge also, you can sing the Tibetan if you want. It's good to sing the Tibetan if you want. There's nothing problem. And if you have a good voice, it's also very nice. But it's not about that. Then you read the translation and then you reflect on it. I think that is more important, we need to reflect on refuge also, I think, because why it's there, why we have to recite 3 times every day, is because we need to reflect on it. And that reflection, that feeling or understanding is what matters, Not just reciting as a mantra, but, understanding. So therefore, I don't think I need to explain too much the refuge now, because, I think all of you know about this. But, to remind ourselves is the practice, that what we are trying to do, reflecting the refuge is, in fact, reminding ourselves about the purpose of our life, purpose of our life. What is it that we are here for? What is it that we are doing, From Buddhist way of looking, it's not that, I am given a purpose to perform in this life by the God. That's not how we say it. What we say it is that we have this life now in, however all these causes and conditions we don't know, but we have this life now. I am alive. I am a human being. And now, what should I do? How should I live this life? How should I, what should be the most important thing for me in this life to focus on? I think this becomes important. We had a little question about, loving ourselves. Loving ourselves. And I said that, maybe there is not much teaching on this, because this is something, very much seen as like, what can you say, as normal, everybody should be loving themselves, and there is no question about that. That is in our culture, in my culture, and in Indian, and most of the, I don't know, Eastern, in my generation, which is, I think, another generation, I think now. Generations seem to change very quickly. Generations seem to change within about 20 years. I have a little bit felt that I have lived like 2-3 generations, because I see how people seem to have different ways of seeing things and different ways of looking at things. But that doesn't mean, whether there is lots of practices recommended in the sutras or tantras or instructions about, loving yourself or not, but that must be. You must love yourself first in order to love other people or other beings. Because if you don't love yourself, if you hate yourself, you wouldn't even know that loving is something useful or good. So how would you love anybody? You know, you must wish well for yourself. If I don't wish well for myself, how would you know? There is no question that you want to help somebody, you know, because what's the purpose? You know, I want to punish myself. I want to harm myself. I want more pain. So I would think that everybody wants that, no, or something like that. So therefore, wishing good for yourself is the best. And I think taking refuge is basically wishing good for yourself, you know. Like how I see, you know, there's pain in life, there's problems in life, there's difficulties in life. So, you know, I have to see this, I have to understand this, I have to acknowledge this. And then I want to free myself from these sufferings and pain and problems. Not just like working on the symptoms, or not just working on the temporarily, you know, like not just taking a painkiller or like that. But I want to resolve these problems in a permanent way, you know. So how to do that? You know, how to do that? That question leads to refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. You know, how? So, you know, this is when we come to see that, you know, just like, you know, just like, you know, having a good job. Having a good job is very, very important. Having, you know, good people around you is important, you know. Having a nice family is important. Having, you know, whatever, all this, usually what we want, all these things are important. But does this really solve our problem? And this is, you know, does this really solve all my problems or not? And when I see that, along those things is important, is good, we need to have it in life, yes, but it doesn't necessarily completely, deeply, permanently solve our problems. We have to solve our problems deeply, we need to transform ourselves. We need to transform ourselves, and that's, you know, going refuge to the Buddha. You know, that I want to transform myself, and I would like to transform myself, and I am going to work towards that. That's going refuge to the Dharma, Buddha, and that we must understand. When we have that, then, you know, I think it's very, very good, very useful, because then we have understood that, you know, our usual worldly things is important, but it's not ultimate solution. It wouldn't. So when we have those problems in the life, like, you know, if I have problems with my job, I would not be so much affected by that, because I know that, yeah, job is an important thing, but it's not the whole solution. It's not everything. So when I know it's not everything, then little problem there, or even if I lose it, I have not lost everything, because it's not everything anyway. Understand? That makes me see everything that happens in our life in a different light. Sometimes people see those things like a job or money or a kind of a relationship or whatever. So like this is it, and this is the thing. This will make me completely, happy. And if you see like this, then if that doesn't work, then you have lost all hope, and you have kind of, you're devastated, and you kind of, there's nothing more, and things like that. But when you understand this is not like that, however good your job is, however good your relationship is, however good, everything else is, it doesn't necessarily will make you completely happy. If you see this, then if you are not completely happy, you will be happy. Because that's the way it is, It will be like this. There will be ups and downs, there will be problems. So when you see this, you are not, you can take these problems, and you understand these problems, because you didn't expect that, it will solve all your problems. Because the real solution to your problems has to come from within yourself. And so therefore, I think it's extremely important to understand this, because sometimes people think that the Dharma practice is one thing and the life is another thing. It's not. Taking refuge in a proper way is a most important way of learning how to live your life and see things in a clear way. This, I think, we need to remind ourselves. And that's why we need to do it 3 times, because we are a little thick sometimes. We could be very intelligent and very clever, but sometimes when it comes to emotions, I sometimes find the most intelligent and most highly educated PhD holders are the worst. I shouldn't say this, but I find it like this sometimes. So then, Dharma is also there, like God, taking refuge. In Buddha, I like this. I like this translation. I don't like take refuge in Buddha. I like in Buddha I go for refuge. In Dhamma I go for refuge. In Sangha I go for refuge. I like this. Because that's, And then Dharma is, now what, if I need to transform myself, then what am I need to do? That's the Dharma. So I need to work on myself. I need to see things clearly. I need to train myself, and that's practicing Dharma. It's not Buddhism. Anything that helps me there, including Buddhism, or including the teachings of the Buddha, including teachings from anywhere, including some nice instructions from, maybe your parents, in the new generation, sometimes, the parents are regarded as somebody very stupid and very bothersome, I've heard this and I was really a little bit bothered, say, oh, she's like my mother, she's like a mother. As that means like she's very bad, she's like a mother. In my generation, I say, if she's like my mother means like, oh, really good, If we call somebody like mother or mommy, then, that means like we give the most, respect or most. But in some modern, people say, it's like a mother or like my mother, or that means like, I want to avoid her as much as possible, kind of, Anyway, that's besides the point. So therefore, going refuge is like that. Going refuge. In Buddha, I go for refuge. In Dhamma, I go for refuge. In Sangha, I go for refuge. And in Sangha is people who are, who are trying to do some, work on your. Now, again, when we talk about Sangha, Senrizik is the Sangha. Yeah? Great Bodhisattvas is the Sangha. Manjushri is Sangha. Vajrapani is Sangha. Yeah? Even Buddha, Shakyamuni is Sangha. People who are really, genuinely, practicing, transforming themselves, working on it, are Sangha. Now again, there sometimes problem comes that, okay, there is a monastery, and in that there are lots of monks and nuns, and there is somebody, like a Lama or Tulku or Rinpoche or Kempo, comes with very nice dress, nice colors. I like this color. It's a wonderful color. But anybody who wears these colors are not necessarily great. Yeah? They are all same. Like, if I take off this robe, I'm just same person. Whether I put on this robe or put off this robe, it's the same person. And, it doesn't, putting on a different cloth doesn't change my heart, doesn't change my reaction to things, it doesn't change my habits, it doesn't change anything. So therefore, everybody, all human beings are very same, very same. We all have some good sides, some good thoughts, some good, we want to do some good things. But we also, all of us have lots of negative emotions, negative habitual tendencies. So you can't, think, you can't say that everybody who wears a different dress or who is supposed to be practicing in something, compassion or kindness or something, are already completely, kind and compassion and things like that. It's not. Actually, the fact that I'm trying to practice compassion, I'm trying to generate my compassion a little bit, means you are not compassionate enough. If you were so, already completely compassionate, then you don't need to work on it. You don't need to practice on it. You don't need. Then I don't need to. I'm already compassionate. Why should I practice compassion? I don't need to practice Shenrezig. So if you see somebody practicing Shenrezig, means he's not that compassionate. or otherwise he's very lazy. So it's another, it's even worse. So therefore, I think it's very important to understand this and see, other people like yourself, but then we need to, to be influenced in a positive way, and therefore we need to try to, that's why Saint Isaac, and Manjushri and all these great bodhisattvas and all these great masters of the past and the stories of this great master of the past become so important, because we have somebody to look up to, because we can, what can you say, we can take there is some kind of example for us. There is something that we can, see as our, what is the word? See as our aspiration, inspiration, and things like that, and it's so important to see this. That's why in the stories, sometimes people are little, little annoyed, to say the least, because when we write, when the stories of the past, great masters are written, only thing written are how they, how they practiced Dharma and how they liberated from there, and all the positive qualities are written. There's not much written about all the problems they had or all the negatives they had, and in the modern biography, they almost focus 100% on the problems and negative things and problems that person's in life and things like that. And of course, this will kind of understand that person in a way, supposedly more. But sometimes this also is biased because you don't focus as so much on the positive side. And but in the our tradition, we focus all on positive side, and because we want that to be an inspiration for us, and even if when we mention some problems and difficulties, we want to mention how he or she, what you call it, overcome these problems and difficulties more. So that's why it's called Namtar. Namtar means the story of their liberation. So therefore, this is written for a real purpose. It's a something that's purposefully written like that. Because one thing, it's very important. Generally, we are so much, focusing on negative things, on problems. Our life is only problem. I have this problem, I have that problem. If I have a little problem, my mind is 100% focused on that problem, and I think I cannot rest, I cannot relax, I cannot feel good unless that problem is solved. That's most of our human beings are like that. I have a problem, Then I'm only thinking about that problem day and night, almost. And then I do everything to solve these problems, and then if that problem is solved, then it's, oh yes, finally that problem is solved. But that doesn't mean that there's no another problem coming. And another problem coming, we do same way, as if there is nothing else but the problem, And that's our problem. So we are totally bogged down in problems, and so much, So when I have a problem, I don't want to look at other things that is not a problem. I don't want to give space in my mind to, to enjoy those things. That's not a problem, because I have a problem. So therefore, I must be positive, concentrated and focus on the problem. And that is making life miserable. You can't. How can you enjoy your life? How can you live in a happy way if you are like that? And this is something we really need to change. That's why we need to go refugee. Sangha is like, we need to focus on positive things, positive people. Yes, we have problems. We will keep on having problems until we die. I think there will be never a time when there will be absolutely no problem. The more quickly we accept that, I think it's better. Because we have this idea that, these problems are there, it's getting better now, it will all solve slowly, in a few months or few days, then I'll be all okay. I don't know whether this has ever happened, because rich people have problems, powerful people have problems, famous people have problems, everybody has problems, there's nobody who doesn't have problems. And it's like that. So we need to learn how to live with these problems, how to transform these problems into practice, into life, into use this, our inner strength to transform these problems. And therefore, the first attempt is to say that, okay, the problems are there. I need to try to solve these problems. I need to do whatever is possible to work on these problems. Some of the problems will be solved more easily. Some of the problems take longer time. Some of the problems may never be actually going away. But that doesn't mean that I have to be always unhappy. I have to always be, totally devastated. And I have other things also, which are lots of nice and good, and I need to focus on that. Because how I am is where my mind is focused. If my mind is focused on something beautiful, at that moment I have beautiful in my mind. If my mind is focused on something ugly, my mind is ugly at that moment. So therefore, I am where my mind is occupied with. If I am occupied with nice things, wonderful things, positive things, immediately I will have a smile on my face and I will feel good. So therefore, I need to work on this. I need to make that my, so this refuge is also that important. So therefore, we need to a little bit, spend time on working this. Then, bodhicitta. Now, when I am trying to work, I am trying to transform. Now this is loving myself. If it is not loving myself, then what is that? Yeah? Because I want to do something really good for myself. No? If I really wish myself the best, isn't that loving yourself? Or not? There is no other way of loving yourself, no? So that's loving yourself. You don't have to I love yourself. I don't need to tell myself, I love you all the time. That shows you are not very much. Yeah? I was sometimes a little bit annoyed by, the Western style. Always, I love you, Ellen. I said, there's a little bit of something wrong with this. I felt it. There's something wrong. Why you have to tell so many times? If you really love... I felt not so good, But anyway, that's my problem, So anyway, so therefore that's loving yourself. Loving yourself. Then I need to, understand other people, because we have to live in the society, and I have lots of people around me, and lots of people like me, lots of people love me, and of course, if somebody loves me, it is most natural that I love them. It's not possible not to represent. It's all like that. If somebody hates me, my attitude to that person also becomes more, whether I totally hate or not, but I become a little bit, not like that person. If somebody really likes me and loves me, naturally, my reaction will also be similar to that person, That's totally normal, that's the way it is. So if somebody smiles at me, naturally a smile comes on my face. I will smile back. So it's like that. So therefore, there are lots of people who like me, who love me. So therefore, then I love them, and when I love them, that means I wish them well. I want them to be happy. I want them to, because they are like me. I think the important thing, first thing and most important thing about kindness and compassion is that to know that we are all same, similar. I am a human being, all of you are human beings. So we have similar emotions, we have similar likes and dislikes, and nobody likes to be in pain, nobody likes to have problems, nobody likes to suffer. Everybody likes to be loved, everybody likes to be, to be well, everybody likes to have a good time, nice time, Everybody likes to be treated in a nice way. So therefore, as I want to be treated in a good way, nicely, lovingly, kindly, so I know that everybody likes to be treated in the same way. So that is the first thing, first thing that I see that this is like that. So if that's like that, then I should try to, maybe I cannot, I cannot do everything that everybody wants. That's not possible. But I should try to do as much as possible to treat everybody around me as I would like myself to be treated. Yeah? So, how I would like to be treated, you know. I don't want somebody to punch me, you know. So I should not punch somebody. I don't want people to say bad things to me. So I don't want to do that either. So, you know, people like to be nice and kind to me, so I have to try to be nice and kind to them. Yeah? Wish them well. But then, it's the same like me, you know. Everybody also, you know, I have problems like me, and difficulties like me, you know, and all the positive and everything like me. So, if I see that, you know, I need to transform myself, if I see that I need to really transform myself from within myself, other than that, there is no true, you know, solution to my problems. So that would be same with everybody. So I would like that eventually I should be able to help to transform everybody, like as I do myself. You know, that's why, you know, in the Bodhicitta you say, you know, may all sentient beings be free from, you know, I wish to bring all the sentient beings to the final, you know, enlightenment. That's why I say that, because that's if I see this as my real solution, I see that for others also as the real solution. You know. So we need to, you know, that is what, you know, the real solution, the ultimate solution is. It's not that it can happen like this. Even small problems we cannot solve so easily. So, you know, real, true, final solution, it's of course not easy. But it's not easy. It may not happen. It may not happen for a long, long, long time. It may never even happen. Because, you know, from the story of Shendezik, you know, as I told yesterday, it is said that he made this promise and then he worked, you know, for, I don't know, countless kalpas and, you know, helped billions of people. And then he went up and looked down and it was same number as before, you know. So it may be like that. But, however difficult, maybe not possible completely, for, you know, but that should be the way, you know, we wanted that, we should have that aspiration. So I would like to work on that, and I want to help everybody, but if I can't help everybody, I can help even one person, that's also good, you know. It's not that I need to help everybody, so therefore one person helping is not kind of worth it, or, you know, it's taking too much of my efforts and my time, you know. So, you know, I'm going to help everybody, you know. You know, I have no time for you. Because there is no other way, you know. We need to do things one by one, and, you know, I can't liberate everybody, or I can't liberate even one person. So what I can do is maybe just say some nice things, you know. I can say I love you, if that helps, you know. every hour. After some time, maybe it will feel a little hollow, but things like that. So therefore, you know, this understanding that, yes, we need, I wish really to help myself and help everybody, and that is the most important thing in life. That's my most important thing. Even if a little bit I can do that, I would feel that my life is useful, purposeful, meaningful. So therefore, when you see this refuge and bodhicitta, that kind of, that directs you, your life in a certain way, you're not confused anymore. What is your purpose of life? My purpose of life is to help myself and help everybody as much as possible to transform and find the final solution if possible. If not, a little bit help, a little bit relief if I can.